Now this is a story all about how we went from this undercupboard lighting to this. So what we've got to start with is obviously rip the old stuff out to see what we're dealing with. So I'm assuming it's all up there, and there's a driver. So we've got to pull all this out and find out, are these actually up there properly? Look. No, that was easy. Yeah, so they're quite simple to come out. They don't... Oh, that's up there nice and tight, so we're going to have to take them screws out. So this is where we find it's all fed from. Basically, top this off, because we'll get the live and neutral from there for the lights to start with. But for now, let's pull it all out. And that obviously goes across to the other end. Oh, that's pulling on something, so we'll get rid of that. But then where's it go this end? Oh, is that a live and neutral as well? Beautiful. That's going to be your 12 volt, isn't it? Yep, that's where the 12 volt's connected to. So we can pull all that out. Jackpot. Scrap that. And to clear the way, let's get all these screws out. We could reuse these actually, but they're a bit big. That's just in there, look. They've just been any old screws to hold them up. Obviously it hasn't held them up too well. So there we go. Does this fit in there? Yep. Oh, there's one under there as well. We'll get these out of the way. All these screws out of the way, but this is a bit, I want to CT1 it and put some screws in, just for double support in effect, but I want that to be clean first. And I know WD-40 does do the trick, but I didn't know that they do all these other ones as well. Penetrate, silicone, contact cleanant, cutting oil, degreaser, white lithium grease. So I've got a selection, but today I'm going to be using the degreaser to get rid of all that. Because as you know, under here, every cooking oil is under there. So I'm just going to give this a bit of a spray to get rid of all this grease. Hopefully it does the trick. It makes it nice and clean for me. Oh, yeah, it does smell quite funky. It cleans it up alright actually. Not perfect, but for me, sticking something to the surface should be good. And the thing is, with these nozzles, if you need to, you can point it out. This is going to stink this kitchen out, but it's going to degrease it as well. Look at that. Spot on. So now the interesting bit, what am I going to be replacing it with? Basically, so with this profile, I've just gone for the flat stuff because that is what I need under here. Let's have a look how it's going to fit. So this profile will fit under here like so. I will do a nice hole in that end so it can go up there. And this will be one length, and then the other length will go down there. So it should be perfect. I just need to get it straight, you know. So that, but this is not the only profile they do. Look, it comes with the ends and the clips and everything as well. Let's open it up. So it's got the ends, the clips. Does it come with any screws? No, luckily I have plenty of them. So let's put the ends on. And yes, you can clip it in, that'll be spot on. But then, look, that's not the only profile it does. I've got sent this as well. This is pretty interesting, because look at all the different profiles. That's a smaller profile, angle profile. And what I'm going to do, I'll show you these when I get some LED strip inside them. Because I want to know, when I get these LED strips, I'll test them first by putting inside this, so we can see what every one of these look like. Because I saw this one. This is like a magnifying one. I like the idea of this. This will be spot on. I wish I got that now. But that's for next time. For this LED strip, I'm not going to go directly up here, because then all this light pollution down here will be pants. I'm going to go sort of here. So everything that will light up at the back and at the front. So if I just put this with a pencil line all the way along, then I know where I'm going to fix it. Basically, and look, that is quite clean now with that degreaser. And all the way along. There we go. So I will, on the end of this, want a hole though, where that LED will come out, or the end of the LED will come out, basically. And then what I'm going to do as well, I want to mark here, so I'm going to do 10. And then let's go every half a metre. Sugar. Half a metre, which will be there just for these clips to clip it up. And then I want to put it in there because that's where they're going to fix up to. So I'll mark little hole there, little hole there. Oh, where's it? Little hole there, and oh, flipping, it has to be right at this end, isn't it? Little hole there. So just to start the hole, so I'll get it in the right position, I just make the hole a little bit with a screwdriver, so I know where they're going in. And then a tiny little wood screw will fit in there. Just to hold them brackets up, really, that's all you need. There's nothing heavy holding on them. And then I'll get my screwdriver in there and just do them up. So then that will be nice and secure. I don't need to CT1 it really, I don't think. There we go. And like I said, with this end one, I'm going to have a hole in it so I can get the cable out for the LED. And that will be perfect because it will just go along there, and then the cap will go over the top. So then if I could just get that in there level, that in there, that fit in there perfect. Well, I need to get that a little bit from the end because I will want to put an end cap on that. Probably a good idea if I do it now, to be honest, because then I can shove it straight up to that wall. Right, well that's that one up. So all I want to do now is put an end cap on this one, because this will be the other end, obviously. And there we go. And then back under here, I want to measure out where it joins on there. So I can cut that nice and straight and clip it up. And this is where this comes in handy. I know the blade's a bit blunt, but not blunt, but a bit short now. But it should get through that. Where's the light coming on? No, there it is, my finger's over it. Right, all I want to do Wonderful. And then this should fit in here. Oh, look at that. Made to measure. That in there, that in there, and then that in there. And that profile is up. Now I want to liven up this to make sure the LEDs work. And what I've done, I've stripped these down a bit because this driver come from the LED store, but I want it to be a bit longer on them. So I've stripped them down with leaving the solder on. So live, neutral and earth will go into there. But obviously we can't leave the cables like that, even though they're nice and tight. So we've got to stick them inside a little Wago box. So then they're a bit more robust and secure. Let's put these in there, like so. And there we go. That's better. And then from the driver wants to go into the controller, because this is going to be colour changing. So we want to go into the controller. Let's whip this off. And see where it goes in here. And it brings 24 volt out. So these are 24 volt LEDs. Am I right? 24 volt, yes. So whip this off. And we'll go into these terminals, input 12 to 48 volts DC, and that's where your LED strip connects onto. So this driver can basically do two. If you've got two of these, it'll be two circuits. Right, I've connected up to 24 volts in there, and obviously your black is your ground, and then your red, green, blue, white. So this is basically all singing, all dancing tape. It's quite bright, to be honest. And now I just want to check with the controls as well. So let's get the batteries out. So obviously we're going to need them. Get these controls out. With a couple of screws to, looks like, to mount that. So let's put the batteries in. And do we have to sync up the remote? Yes. And that's what I told you, we're going to have to get this off. So this is the match button. So quick press on that, and then quickly press this. Yeah, it didn't work. Quick press on that. Right, a quick press on the match button, and then S1, because that'll be single zones. And there we go, we're matched up to S1, to single zone. On and off, yep, it turns it on and off. And we can have white, we can have red, we can have all sorts of colours, and that is the controls matched up. Now whilst we've got it like this, let's check the other profiles. Now I haven't stuck them down inside the profile because obviously I'm going to use it in the one I've got. But I just wanted to see these different profiles. I've got these ones on. Some of them, they even come with smaller ones. But this is the RGB colour changing one, so it won't fit inside the smaller ones. Just turned it on with my hand. But look, this is quite good. That magnifies it. All different sorts of profiles for different environments. And they're quite good. I like that one because then you can't see the dots. When you've got some of them, like there's one, where is it? It's got a real thick bit of plastic on, so it doesn't, you can't see any of the dots. And in these ones as well, where they're far away, sit in the bottom, you can't see the dots as well. With that one, yeah, you can see the dots a bit. But when they're frosted, you can't see the dots on these. And obviously, they change colour. Look at that. Pretty smart bit of kit. That's a warm white. So if you want to go on to cool white, yeah, we can put it on cool white as well. Nice. Very sensitive, this control. But let's get them up anyway. So I want to get this length cut, basically, for the length of under this cupboard. So, there is plenty of places that you can cut these. There we go. Cut them there. So with this as well, I had to extend it to be able to get it to go up on top of the cupboards rather than putting the driver mounted under there. So I've just soldered these together, shrink wrapped it all, and now I'm going to feed it in to this end to get that to the top. So this hole is what I did it for. Bend that around. It should just come out. Let's be honest, it will do. There we go. You want to feed this to get it inside. And what I would say do with this is the end where there's not going to be anywhere to get rid of the slack, glue that first, because you don't want to be stuck with the loop at one end and then not be able to get rid of the slack. So take this tape off, poke it as far as it will go, and start to glue it by taking that tape off the back. It's like a double-sided tape. It should stick up there beautifully. But make sure the tape's not twisted as well, because that'll look pants if that tape is twisted, and it'll be a nightmare at the end. It just makes it easy. You probably could untwist it, but let's just make sure it's not twisted, shall we? There we go. Then you can see that I can get rid of the rest of this tape. Get rid of that. And that. And then that can go up in there for the slack. And that is it. Look at that. Beautifully in there. Go once again. Let's just get a pencil mark where this wants to be, and that'll go right to that end. We have another bit we need to cut, so this is so handy for this. Get yourself one if you do a lot of LED profile. You get this right up towards the end where it wants to be, and it should fit in there ideally. There we go. That is nice and tight and straight. Beautiful. And again, I'm just going to solder these because it's just a better connection. You could put them inside a box or in Wagos, but if I solder it, extend the cable, it goes through that hole in the trunking. So this is my plan. Get a warm. And then of course, you don't want them touching. So I've got heat shrink to go over there, and I've only got a 240 volt heat gun. I know, So if anyone's watching, don't want to give me a heat gun to use, go for it. So there we go. We'll heat them on, but they're all loose. This should be nice now. So then I've got some heat shrink to go over as well. Because I've got two of the cables coming in, one for this end and one for that end, I'm going to put them together like so, because they could have been joined, like soldered and joined on, but I want to twist them together and then get this to clip a ferrule over it. What the white ones do. Look at that, perfect. And then they'll go into that controller a lot better up there. So if you look at that, that is a lot neater in there, and I can get that to clamp over, and it just looks a lot neater. So let's put the lid on. So now all we've got left is this frosted capping. Does it come with a film over the top? Yes. So we can get our fingers all over it and peel this off last. Oh, there's me pecking at it. It doesn't come with one. Right, it's not got the film on it. So basically we can just put this on. And what I want to do is the short end bit where it joins, I'm going to make sure the capping goes over that. Yeah. So let's start at this end and get this bit on. There is a few different ways you can do this capping. You can just score it with the Stanley knife, give it a snap, snaps off beautifully, or you can get your grinder. Oh. Yeah, you've got to be quite straight. You can do it straight. I'm going to do the Stanley method because it just seems to me to snap off neater. So if I just score it along there, pop, there we go. That's all right. Right, so we're ready for the big reveal. Basically, now we've got to turn it on. Ta-da! And if we look, how much neater is that? Is that perfect? And that one down there, spot on. Just looks better, neater, and yeah, it's not, no wires hanging down basically. And the great thing about it is as well, in the cupboard, there's a remote control. So if you're having a party and you think, it's a bit of a red party, I'll have red lights. Or, I don't know, maybe it's a green party, I'll have some green lights. Oh, bit of a party vibe. So basically, this is your all new under cupboard lights, colour changing. And like I say, all this kit come from the LED store. I'll leave a link in the show notes down below so you can see what they do on there, because obviously like I showed you earlier, they do loads of profiles and stuff and all sorts. So check it out if you want some under cupboard lights.